Now we will discuss about the types of solutions. So there are different types of solutions. In that, one is aqueous solutions and non-aqueous solution. Aqueous means water. So aqua is the Greek word. In the Greek language, aqua means water. So in any solution, if water is act as a solvent, such solutions are known as the aqueous solutions. Other than the water, if any compound is act as a solvent, those solutions are known as the non-aqueous solutions. For example, if ammonia is act as the solvent in any solution, such solutions are known as the ammonical solution. If liquid alcohol is act as the solvent, then those solutions are known as the alcoholic solutions. And amalgams are also solutions. In amalgams, mercury is one of the compound, and this mercury is present in liquid state. If ether is act as the solvent, those solutions are known as etherol solutions. Not only this, along with this, benzene, liquid sulfur dioxide, chloroform, acetone, ethanol. So these are the some examples for non-aqueous solutions. Later, we will discuss about the types of solutions based on the solute and solvent physical states. So there are three types of solutions are there. One is the solid solutions, liquid solutions, and then gaseous solutions. So in in solid solutions, the solvent is present in the form of solid. And again, these solid solutions are three types are there. One is solid in solid, liquid in solid, and gas in solid. Solid in solid type solution, the solute is present in the solid state as well as the solvent is also present in the solid state. Examples for this type of solutions is alloys. So all the alloys are the examples for solid in solid type solutions. For example, brass, bronze, steel. So these are the metal alloys. Next one is liquid in solid. The solute is present in the liquid state, but solvent is present in the solid state. Examples are amalgams. And next one is a gas in solid. The solute is present in the gaseous state and the solvent is present in the solid state. Examples are occlusion of any gas, not only the hydrogen, occlusion of any gas on metal surface is known as the occlusion process. For example, and this is the one metal, on this metal, and this is the metal surface area. On this metal, some of the gas molecules will come and undergo the adsorption process. Means adsorption of gases on the surface of metal is known as the occlusion. And next one is the liquid solutions. In liquid solution, the solvent is present in the form of liquid state. Examples: solid in liquid, liquid in liquid, gas in liquid. The solid in liquid is a sugar solution, salt solution, and these are the examples. Means here sugar is the solute and water is the solvent, and we know that this water is the universal solvent because most of the compounds are soluble in water. Next one, the liquid in liquid solutions. Alcohol in water or the milk in water. So these are the examples. Gas in a liquid. Examples are oxygen dissolved in water, that is the soda water. Means we will take the all the cool drinks or the examples for the gas in a liquid type solutions. Next one, the gaseous solutions. In gaseous solution, the solvent is present in the form of gaseous phase. Example, solid in gas, liquid in gas, gas in gas. Solid gas is the camphor in air, and even we will take dust particles in air. Liquid in gas, chloroform is mixed with nitrogen, or the chloroform is mixed with the air. And even you can get the moisture also. So in this moisture, water droplets are present in the liquid state, that water droplets are present in the air is also example for liquid in gas type of solutions. Gas in gas, so mixture of any two gases, for example hydro oxygen and hydrogen, or oxygen and nitrogen, and the mixture of any gases are the examples for the gas in gas. So these are the classification of solutions based on the physical states of the solute and solvent. Next, again we have the different types of the solutions based on the relative amount of the solute in a solvent. Those are the dilute solutions and concentrated solutions. So in a dilute solutions, the amount of solute is very less. In concentrated solution, the amount of the solute is more as compared to the dilute solutions. And next one is a concentration. So concentration means the amount of solute present in definite amount of solvent present in 100 grams of solution is known as the concentration. For example, if you take the 1 liter of water, so in this 1 liter of water, if we add the 1 tablespoon of sugar, we can get the one solution. Think that that solution is the A, and to this again you can add the one more tablespoon of sugar, and that is a solution B. Means out of this A and B, and the B is having more concentration and A is having a less concentration compared to the B. Now we will discuss the concentration methods to express the concentration of the solutions. So there are different types of methods are there. One is the mass percentage, and second one is the volume percentage, and third one is the volume mass percentage, parts per million. Like this different types are there. In that first we will discuss about the mass percentage. So mass percentage means it is the ratio of weight of the solute in grams present in the weight of the solution. It is also present in the grams into 100. For example, 5% of solution means 5 grams of solute present in 100 grams of solution. It indicates only 5 grams of solute is dissolved in 100 grams of solution. Then we know the weight of solute and we know the weight of solution. Then weight of the solvent is 95 grams, and this mass percentage is independent on temperature, means it does not depends upon the temperature. Next one is the volume percentage. So in a mass percentage, solute is present in grams as well as the solvent is also present in the grams. Now in case of the volume percentage, the volume of solute we have to take in ml, and to the total volume of solution, and this solution also we have to take in ml. For example, 10% ethanol solution means 10 ml of ethanol present in 100 ml of solution. And even you can take a 35% solution of ethylene glycol, and this ethylene glycol is the antifreeze, and this antifreeze we can use in cars to cool the car engines. And this ethylene glycol can lowers the freezing point, freezing point. So usually this ethylene glycol we can use in cars to cool the engines in cars, and this ethylene glycol can lower the freezing point. And next one is mass by volume percentage. So in case of mass percentage, solute and solvents are present in grams. In case of volume percentage, solute and solvents are present in ml. But in case of mass by volume percentage, the solute is present in grams and the solvent or the solution is present in ml. And this mass by volume percentage majorly used in medicine and pharmacy side. Means in pharma industry we can make the number of medicines and drugs, and all the manufacturing of drugs and medicines all depends upon mass by volume percentage. And next one is the parts per million, and this the parts per million is useful when amount of solute is present in a solution in a less quantity. And mass parts per million means it's the ratio between number of parts of the components to the total number of parts of all components of the solution is known as the parts per million. And as we discussed earlier, so it is used when the solute present in a trace quantity or a trace amount. And for example in Delhi and Bangalore, and these are the more polluted cities. How we can say so these are the more polluted cities? By calculating the pollutants present in the air, and the percentage of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxides are calculated by use of these parts per million method. And the fifth one is the mole fraction. So usually the mole fraction is denoted with the x, and the mole fraction definition is it is the ratio between the number of moles of one component to the total number of moles of all components is known as the mole fraction. For example, if you take the one component is the A, another component is the B. So the component A is having the number of moles is the Na, and the component B is having the number of moles is B. Then to find out the mole fraction of the component A, XA is equal number of moles of component A upon number of moles of component A plus number of moles of component B. So to find out the mole fraction of the component B, number of moles of the B by number of moles of A plus number of moles of B, and the sum of number of moles of A and B is equal to 1, means XA plus XB is equal to 1. So if you know the mole fraction of any one component, we can easily find out the mole fraction of the another component. For example, if mole fraction of component A is the 0.2, then mole fraction of the component B is equal to 1 minus XA, then here we can get 1 minus 0.2, then we can get the 0.8. So like this we can calculate the mole fraction of each and every component. And this mole fraction is also independent, so it is also independent on temperature, means mass percentage and parts per million and mole fraction, these are the independent on temperatures. And for the dilute solution,